afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another great edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young. Unbelievable, we're already through mid-February, and we had a little snow yesterday, but it melted quick. The weather gods have been great to us around here, and I ain't being in Emmett, if you know what I mean. And I have an awesome guest tonight. He's heating things up in here tonight, but before we get to him, got to read the underwriters. Only have 3 tonight. That's okay, we're getting them, so here we go. We have Working Cherry Lane Seat Weaving in West Bridgewater. We got MDI Autobrokers and Repair in Whitman, and they are the home of the fully certified used car. We got Smoke and Ashes Tobacco Company, corporate office in Abington, and stores conveniently located in Abington, Hanson, Hanover, Pembroke, Weymouth, and Whitman. And I thank you guys all very much. And on that note, now we will introduce the guest. I have an awesome comedian tonight from the biggest little state in the Union, Rhode Island, the 401 area code, all that good stuff, the Ocean State. This gentleman is known as John Perotta. Is that how we pronounce it?
John Perotta, yeah.
John Perotta, okay. Yep. It's not, it's not Johnny, it's just John. Is that what
Some people call me Johnny. Some people call me other things too.
You gotta love his dialect too. He's got the deep, thick, mob-like Providence dialect. You gotta like that. But he's been on the right side of the law his whole life, as far as we know. He was a corrections officer. I mean, you were a prison guard for 36 years, right?
Yeah, I was a correctional officer for almost 36 years. I retired last April.
Okay.
Great place to work as a comic, Harrison. I had a captive audience.
Well, exactly. There's a little material as we speak. Don't think I didn't get that one. Yeah, captive. Yeah, right. Unless they were at each other's throats, vying for positions in the shower, and we won't have to go anywhere with that one, do we?
No, we don't.
Couldn't resist, though, as long as we're talking about prison stuff. But, okay, well, we're going to, as usual, what I do with all my guests, like I told you going in, is I try to find out the history, how they got to be where they are. Basically, I always say everything happens for a reason, number one. And number two, that things that happen to people in life, their career choices, while they may be very different, they're also connected somehow. So what I want you to tell us is how you grew up in Rhode Island, right?
Yeah, grew up in.
How did that lead to number one, your career as a prison guard at the ACI, and number two, your comedic career, and what was the connection between the two, if there was any? And I'm kind of thinking there probably was, but go ahead.
Yeah, people always said I was funny when I was younger. Tried comedy, and I got into comedy before. I got into comedy in the '80s, actually, right around the same time I started at the prison. I wanted another outlet, and then I wound up trying comedy, and it didn't go so well. I did really well my first time up, and not so well the next 2 times up. So I stopped for 8 years and just worked at the prison, and then I tried it again. In '91, I went to a show at the Comedy Connection, which was the main comedy club in Rhode Island. And Jonathan Katz was on stage, and I was sitting there, and I really enjoyed him. And I said, I got to try this again. And I took a comedy class, and then I got back into it.
Comedy class? Where'd you take that?
There was a comedian, Frank O'Donnell, one of the comics in Rhode Island that's been around forever.
Yep.
And he had a class that went really well, and I just stuck with it since. It's been almost 28 years.
What'd you learn? Like secrets of delivery, eye contact,
how to
stuff,
delivery, setup, delivery, and writing and different things. You know what I mean? The class was very helpful, and at the end of the class, I got on stage. And it went really well, and I said, I got to stick with this, and I've done it ever since,
Okay. Now, in the meantime, you still worked as a prison guard.
Yeah, it was kind of tough because I worked days and some overtime, and then I do the shows at night. But it took a while. It takes a while when you get into comedy. You don't just, hit it right away. It takes you a while to build up your act.
Open mics and stuff?
Yeah, a lot of open mics, a lot of stage time. You know what I mean? You don't make any money for a while. It takes
I hear you.
It takes a while. You gotta, and I didn't get into it to make money. I get into it because I love performing, and when I started making money, eventually it was like, wow, this is cool. I didn't expect that, but it's worked out well for me,
Well, it's obviously it was your calling, and you knew it.
Yeah.
And if it's something you really enjoy, then it really doesn't matter as long as if you do it, the money will come if it's meant to be, and it obviously was for you.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel that there was any connection between your work as a prison guard and using that little material that you started the show with? And your comedy career at all, or not?
I don't think there was so much of a connection. I mean, I tried to make the work environment kind of, would be stressful a lot of times, and I tried to make it comical with some of the guys I worked with and keep it light.
Okay.
And that's how I did my career there. Try to keep everybody, try to make people laugh that I worked with.
Right. Okay.
It kind of kept it light. You know what I mean? I thought that was, it helped. That's how I connected the two. I guess, you know what I mean?
Well, okay, so all the years you've been doing comedy, can you name some of the big comedians you've been working with that we can discuss? And
Yeah,
talk about some
I
of the
worked,
shows?
well,
Did you work with John Katz too? Or
I didn't work with Jonathan Katz. I worked, I had a couple of years ago, I had a really good year. I worked with Bill Burr, I worked with Don Gavin, Joe Yannetti, Lenny Clark,
Okay.
Jimmy J.J. Walker,
Well, you say
Johnny
you talking
Peasy's
about
helped
the
me.
guy who was on Good Times?
Yeah,
Oh,
Johnny Peasy had booked me for a show. He's a great
Gonna get
Boston
Johnny on the
comic.
show, too.
Yeah, he's a great Boston comic, and he
Right.
got me on a show with Lenny Clark and Jimmy J.J. Walker, and it was a great time. You
Wow.
know, Christine Hurley, I've worked with her a
course.
bunch of times. Stephanie Peters.
How about Dave Russo?
Yeah, I worked with Dave Russo.
Great topic time guest 2 years ago this week.
Yeah, so I've had an exciting time doing this. I've met
Okay.
a lot of great comics, and I put shows together. I have my own company called the Comedy Factory.
Wow.
And I put comedy shows.
How'd you found that?
Well, in the early '90s, when I got back into comedy, the boom was over, so all the comedy clubs started closing. So a friend of mine and we said, we got to do something. We'll start our own comedy nights.
Okay.
So we named it the Comedy Factory. My friend Rockin' Joe Hebert was involved with me. We started the Comedy Factory, and we just got a sound system.
Okay.
And we went to restaurants and clubs, and we said, you want to have a comedy night? And we learned as we went. And I'm still learning today.
Well, right, but did you these restaurants let you in to perform? You just said, hey, how you doing? I'm John Perotta. I own this company called the Comedy Club. Can we come in and?
Yeah, I'd go in. Say you had a restaurant, I'd go in and I'd say, hey Harrison, you got a function room there, holds 100 people. I'd like to try a comedy night once a month or whatever.
Did any of them ever give? Did most of them were they usually mostly receptive to you?
Some were and some weren't.
Yeah.
And the ones you try a room and sometimes it's a hit.
Yeah.
I do a room in Warwick, Rhode Island called Lemongrass, and it's an Asian restaurant. They do we call it all you can eat, all you can laugh. We have a big nice buffet, and then the comedy show. I went in there and I told the guy, I said, let's give it a shot. And it was 5 years ago, and we sell out just about every show.
That is awesome.
It goes phenomenal. It goes really well.
Ever do a show at Maui in Brockton? That's a Chinese restaurant too.
No, I haven't done that. No,
Okay.
I haven't done
Might
that.
want to look into it.
Yeah.
They do shows. I don't know when they do them, but they're right on South Main Street on Route 28.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm not sure who books it. Maybe somebody's already booking it. I don't know. There's shows there now already, or?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to step on any toes.
I've never gone to one there, but I know people that have.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you work with Lenny Clark, obviously.
Yeah, I do a lot of the comedy
Christine.
clubs.
Right.
I've done Nick's Comedy Stop, the Comedy Connection, Laugh Out Loud Lounge in China Blossom
Ever worked
Restaurant.
with besides Christine Hurley, what other female comics? You ever work with Trisha All? Do you know who she is?
I know who she is. I haven't worked with her. I've worked, like I said, Stephanie Peters, Christine Hurley, Colleen Galvin from Rhode Island is very funny. I've, Sarah Martin. There's all different comics that from starting out, and they've been doing it a while. I've worked with a lot of different female comics. Sure.
Okay. Now, when you do a show, do you open for a lot of people? Are you usually like the first one on the bill, or what? How does it work?
A lot of times
Like
I've
if you're
developed.
working with somebody like Lenny Clark.
Oh yeah, if I work with Lenny Clark, of course I open. But in a lot of my shows, I get booked by other comics or clubs. They book me to headline. Like I recently headlined the Late Show at the Comedy Connection in Providence. I get booked to headline myself. But if I'm in a show with like a Don Gavin or a Lenny Clark, obviously these guys are Boston legends. I open the show. You know what I mean?
That's gonna be great, though.
Oh yeah, I had an awesome time with Lenny. He's a great guy. Don Gavin, they were great guys. They were great to me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed working with them because it was something. It was really cool. And
So-
Bill Burr, that was really cool working with him.
Okay. Is that B-U-R-R, Burr?
Yeah, he was from Canton, Mass, and
Okay.
he's going on to be, one of the hottest comics in the country.
Sure.
He did TD Garden, I think, last year.
Okay. Wow.
So he's pretty big, yeah. So he's a great guy. He was good to me.
Okay.
And
What venues beside? Now, have you performed outside New England at all, or just?
yeah, I'm and this May I'm doing a center stage in Yonkers, New York. It's a club out there. I'm headlining for a weekend. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. The last 2 or 3 years, I went out to New York. I went over. I did Dangerfields, and I did.
You worked with Rodney?
I didn't. I wish Rodney was still around. I didn't work with Rodney, but I did his club, which was really a thrill to be in that club. Yeah, I did his club, Dangerfields Comedy Club. Big thrill. It was exciting. I did Gotham Comedy Club. I did the Greenwich Village Comedy Club. My friend Stacy Kendrow is out in New York. John Porch, Doug Key. There's different guys out there, and I got in some of the clubs just to do spots. get some experience out in New York, you know, so it's pretty cool.
That's right. Wow, that's great.
And now that I'm retired from the prison, I have more time to dedicate to the business. You know,
do you have a family at all? I mean, you know, that you're also dedicated to, or just do?
Yeah, I have 2 children.
Okay.
My son David is actually a writer. He'd be a good guest sometime.
We'll get him on.
Yeah, he lives in Mexico City. That's a whole nother story. He lives out of the country. And he's got a beautiful girlfriend. He lives out there. And
get her on too.
My daughter, get them both on when they're in town. My daughter Gina's a CPA. She works in Boston.
Okay.
And I'm married to Terry, who she had a story with her. She had a double lung transplant 6 years ago. That's a whole nother story. She'd be a good guest because she was on a deathbed and.
Definitely.
They flew her out to the Cleveland Clinic on total life support.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she got out there and she had 7 to 10 days to live. And it came down a couple of days to live, and she wasn't going to make it.
Ooh.
And they found a match. Someone unfortunately passed away. They found a match, and they performed a double lung transplant. And 6 years later, she's still with us.
Body accepted him and everything.
Yeah, it's a miracle. Yeah,
wow.
It's a tough. I mean, she's on like 45 anti-rejection meds a day.
Right.
That's a whole other story. I put that into my act, a little comedy on that sometimes.
That's good that you can take dark stuff and lighten it.
Yeah, you got to lighten up life.
Oh,
you know, and I also myself had kidney cancer about 3 years ago. They caught it early.
Yeah.
They caught it early, and I put that in my act because I have to go for.
Oh, I have to go for stone.
Yeah, I talk about the kidney cancer. I say, you know, I got to go for MRIs every 3 months. I went last Tuesday, no cancer, but they found 60 Twinkies merged together because I'm a big dude. They found Twinkies and no cancer.
Very good.
God willing, the cancer still cancer free. I go for checkups. So you got to make light of everything. You got to try to enjoy life and make light of things. You know.
True, I agree. That is good. And from what I understand, and like I know, may he rest, Robin Williams, but he did one film where he was making people laugh that was sick, and it helped them.
Yeah. That was such an
man,
amazing
if I was dying, I
talent.
couldn't think anybody better than you to come and cheer me up.
Robin Williams was unbelievable.
I know
it was a shame how he ended, but he had what a career. When he was on the night shows like Carson and those shows, I loved watching him. He'd be crazy. I unfortunately never saw him live. My main guy in comedy was Don Rickles. I kind of build my act after him. I kind of bust the crowd up and he was my idol, and I kind of like that style of comedy, which some people book me and love it, and then other club owners, we don't like somebody working the crowd so much. So it's kind of hit or miss. I keep real busy, but there are people that won't book me because I can go up and do 45 minutes, mostly all crowd work.
That's pretty good, 45 minutes though.
Yeah, some people love it, and then there's other club owners, like I say, we really don't like crowd work, so I don't work certain clubs. Other clubs book me a lot.
Wow.
So it's just the way it goes.
No, but to be able to get up on stage and keep talking for 45 minutes, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Keep the crowd laughing.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, yeah.
What do you think of Sarah Silverman? You think she's funny?
Oh, yeah, she's funny.
My cousin.
Are you serious?
Serious.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Has she been on the show yet?
She has not. I talked to her. I met her at the Wilbur 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool hearing her say the name of my show when we were talking. She goes, your name of your show is Topic Time. To be honest with you, it's going to be tough to get her on, but I can't worry about that. I'm working my goal here too.
You're doing great.
For doing the show and getting so many.
I appreciate you having me on the show.
I know, me too.
Yeah, this is cool.
As far as entertainment, have you ever done anything else? You done music? Have you been in any TV shows, movies, or anything?
I've done a lot of cable shows like this.
Okay.
I've done probably about 10 or 15 cable shows.
Steve Katzos?
Yeah, I did Steve Cat. That was a great time, great guy.
Right.
And I've done a lot of cable shows. I haven't been in a movie yet.
Okay.
But hopefully someday.
Well, maybe the show will launch your career.
Maybe. You never know, Harrison.
Now you say, have you ever done any writing? You write your own material, or do you?
It's strange. You could give me a piece of paper, put me in a room for 3 days, and I can't write a joke. Put me on stage in front of 50, 100 people,
right?
And I come up with a new bit. Sometimes I'll look at somebody, I'll say something, I come up with a new bit, and it goes.
Yep.
And then I just keep it, and I remember it. I'm not a good writer, but I'm a good writer from the stage.
I see.
It's strange, but
it
works.
Great,
it works for me.
It does. It also saves a lot of trees.
Yeah, saves a lot of trees.
I'm trying comedy. I do a little comedy.
You're doing all right,
yeah, I'm trying my best. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have an agent, or do you just represent yourself?
I'm my own agent. The Comedy Factory is like a booking agency.
I call it the company. I meant Factory.
Yeah, and I book other comedians as much as I can. I try to get. I book comedians from Boston, Connecticut, New York, and Rhode Island. I help the new comics. I have run a couple open mics, so I help a lot of new comics get started, and I love the business from from the beginning to end, from the headliners to the new guys. I treat everybody the same, and I try to really, treat the comics good. You know what I mean? Because I'm a comic too.
Have you gotten good reviews in the papers, in the local press?
Oh yeah, I've had different newspapers articles written on me.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the show you just did the other night and Sunday. I believe Sunday.
Yeah.
I think my friend Paul Kandarian.
Yeah. I once a month, sometimes twice a month. It's called the Sunday Showcase. It's at the Comedy Connection, East Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay.
I book usually about 10 comics that are up and coming, and when I'm in that show, I usually close the show.
Right.
And it's a great time, and I mix up new comics and some veteran comics, and we have a great time.
Sure.
And Paul was in the show, and some other comics.
Paul who?
Paul Kandarian.
Paul Kandarian. He was in the show.
Yeah, he was in that show Sunday night.
Right. I'm silly for me to ask him because I didn't realize. How was he in the show?
Very, very
Is he a
funny.
comic too?
He's starting out. He did a story on comedy in the Rhode Island comedy scene.
Right.
He's a writer, and he did a
I
story.
know he also wrote a story about my show.
Yeah.
In the Globe.
Yeah,
That's
he did a
why
story.
was
Did
my
he?
show.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I had him on 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So he
He did a story for the Rhode Island Monthly magazine about comedy in Rhode Island, and it was pretty cool. Helped out some of the scene, talking to different comics, and so now he's actually got into comedy. He's starting out. He's trying it, and he's doing well so far.
He's a comical guy. He's funny.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. He's a naturally funny guy. He's got that deadpan.
Yeah.
Way about him.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking. I like to give advice to my guests that might help him out. Now he's an actor too.
Yeah.
So maybe you might like to try some acting with him. See if he can. Just an idea.
Maybe.
There's always films being shot.
Yeah, he does a lot of commercials,
right.
and he told me he just did played George Washington in a President's Day commercial.
That's for Toma. That's the appliance store. I saw that.
Yeah.
Started doing the Red Sox game a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he does all kind of stuff.
I know he does.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe he could get you in. Maybe he could get you. I'm saying I always tell people this. You have a great career right now, but the more multifaceted you are, the better off you're going to be. The more opportunities you're going to have.
Sure.
So you might want to try some acting at some point.
Yeah.
Just see if you can get into a commercial, something, or even doing some theater. Because after a while, that's the way. Simple. It's not that far removed.
It's kind of funny. When I was a kid, Harrison, before I even thought of comedy, I would put plays on in my my house or my backyard. I would put a thing on my front window now showing the name of the play. I'd have the kids all have parts,
acted too, right?
We acted it out, and we'd have little plays. So I was like already performing. This is when I was young, probably 7, 8 years old.
Did you ever any of these kids that you were in your neighborhood?
Who knows where everybody is now?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Some of them I do, but some I don't. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, some I don't.
But the ones you do, you might want to, do they know what you're doing now? How successful?
Yeah, some of them I run into people at shows and friends and stuff.
Okay, wow. No, I'm saying maybe you guys could collaborate.
Have a play reunion.
Right, you're a go. Well, the plays that you did you write them yourself, or did you? Were they originals?
We just put little plays together. I was a young kid, you know what I mean?
I know, but I'm just saying that what you did as a young kid might help you in the future.
But I don't even remember, Harrison. That was a long time ago, 50 years ago.
That's okay. It doesn't. I'm just saying. There's all kinds of ideas that. What about the idea of getting together with some people and just trying doing a film improv of some kind of silly way?
Yeah.
Like for instance, I'm an actor. I've done some acting. Me and a guy named Chris Dry, who's a film producer, lives up in New Hampshire. I played an illicit therapist who was counseling a guy, and it turns out I was having an affair with his wife. It was hilarious. And it was just me and him doing the whole thing. No script.
Yeah.
You say you're good without writing. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm good off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
That's what works for me,
Yeah, maybe take some people from the comedy factory, put them together, and see if you can, do a bit.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea.
It's a good idea.
So it's a good idea. Yeah. Anything's good. You can try anything. You never know what's going to work.
Well, what does 2019 look for you? Look like for you today going forward? What do you got on the agenda going on?
I keep busy. I get a lot of my own bookings. I've been lucky. A lot of comedians that run rooms, they'll book me for stuff. I work for a company called Funny for Funds.
What's that?
That's a fundraising company in Rhode Island. They put comedy shows together. I do occasional work for them. I work for guys like Johnny Peasy at the LOL Comedy Lounge. They're trying to blossom. I work at the Comedy Connection, East Providence, Rhode Island. There's different clubs. The one in Yonkers, New York, I'm going to be working at.
Yeah, that's
so yeah, I work for that's coming to May. I work for different clubs and different comics book me, and I book a lot of stuff myself. I put together fundraisers, comedy shows. If somebody calls me, want to have a fundraiser, we're doing one for a 4-year-old boy that's sick. We're doing that March 10th in Rhode Island. and different, like we're doing. There's another organization I'm doing in May. The Kathy Andriozzi is a friend of mine, and it's a foundation. We're doing a fundraiser for that.
Okay.
So I keep busy. I keep very busy.
Do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you? All right. Between now and May, what do you got going on? I mean, you book other comics too.
Yeah. Oh,
They
yeah.
book you, and you book them.
Yeah. It's a lot of networking.
Right, exactly.
If you got a room, say, and you call me and say, John, can you do April 15th? And I'll say, yeah. And then I call you maybe 3 days later, Harrison, I got something for you May 10th, and we kind of help each other out.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it works out pretty good.
How many in your league would you say, give or take?
A lot of comics.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, like this Thursday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, I'm working for Stephanie Peters. I'm hosting a show at the Kowloon.
That's tomorrow.
The Kowloon tomorrow, and it's a benefit. Yeah, it's a benefit show in Saugus. I'm there, and then Saturday I'm working in Brighton, Mass, for Spike Tobin's a comic that I worked with in the past, and he called me and said, hey, you want to be in this fundraiser at an Elks Lodge in Brighton, Mass. So I do everything. I do fundraisers, birthday parties, retirement parties, everything. You name it. I did a divorce party once, Harrison.
You did which?
Divorce party. A girl called me up. She was getting divorced.
Oh, that's great.
She threw a party. I walked in. They were throwing dots at the husband's picture on a dot board. I said, this is crazy, right? And they had me perform at a divorce party. So
I cut back in the alimony.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's
I really got it on tonight. How about that, huh?
That's good. So I do everything. And I book comics for all kind of stuff,
Wow.
I have a ball. I love the business.
Yeah, I can tell. You're a funny
really
guy.
enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm sure it is.
A lot of fun.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? What you can do now is, we're actually almost out of time. So what I want you to do in the remaining time we have is to tell people how they can book you, and also where you're available to be seen, if you like maybe on YouTube or
they can go. Yeah, they can go on
line to find you.
Yeah, they can go on my website, comedyfactoryri.com. It's comedyfactoryri.com.
Rhode Island.
Yeah, Comedy Factory, like for Rhode Island, ri.com. You go on that.
There's no JP in there.
No.
Even though you are JP.
Yeah, comedyfactoryri.com. They go on that. It's got all the shows listed that I do at the different clubs and restaurants. I do a lot of dinner shows. I like the dinner shows where people can go have a nice dinner, then see a show. I'm kind of old school.
Oh, yeah.
I do that at Lemongrass and some different restaurants. Spiritos in Cranston, Rhode Island. We do an all you can eat, all you can laugh Italian dinner show. That's coming up in April. And also New Year's Eve, we're going to be there. And so I do a lot of that. They can go on the website, and my YouTube channel's on there. They can see some videos of me working a crowd and having fun, and it's a good time.
I just got a great idea. Right in this building, there's a restaurant called Cornerstones.
Yeah.
It's a nice little restaurant. I go there sometimes after a show.
Yeah.
You might want to go in there and talk to the owner about it's not too big, but maybe stand up at the bar, and they have like a little platform between the bar and the restroom.
I'll stand anywhere, Harrison.
Exactly.
I tell a joke.
That's what I'm saying. Just an idea. Just maybe. It's a beautiful area. Have you been here before? This neighborhood, this area.
I've been through it. You've been through it,
right?
Yeah.
Well, might just behoove you to maybe look into having another restaurant.
I tell you real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was actually a correctional officer, but when I was in the Navy in 1976 to 1980, I got thrown.
Right out of high school. You graduated.
Yeah, right out of high
right?
school.
Yeah.
I was thrown in a jail cell in Venezuela, which is really crazy
Probably
now.
worse now.
But I was in a jail cell with a bunch of guys that didn't talk English.
In a jail cell?
Well, we went into this restaurant, and these two girls sat down, and a few girls, and they put a bottle of booze down, and the guy comes running over, gives us a $50 bill. That was a lot of money in 1979. So I said to my friend, well, I was there in 79 in Venezuela.
Okay, yeah.
So we were on a South American cruise. So I said to my friend, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go down the street where my friend's eating dinner. So I ran out. My friend ran out.
Yep.
We get to the restaurant, tell my friend what happened. The owner comes running in. He moves his coat. He's got a gun. So now he calls the police because we didn't pay this. I wasn't going to pay $50 for it. It's crazy. They put me in a jail cell in Venezuela. So I'm telling one-liners like Rodney Dangerfield stuff and Don Rickles stuff, and I made all that. They didn't even understand English, but they were all laughing at me because of my accent, my dialect.
There you go.
They were laughing at me, and it was kind of like to ease the tension because here I am with about 20 guys in this room. We were locked in.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
Well, how'd you get out of that?
My friend came, and he wound up paying $35 and got me out.
You're lucky it was only $35.
Yeah, I didn't. I
Brazil,
told him.
it's $8,000.
Hey, I told him, leave me here forever.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $50 for this bottle of booze. You can leave me here for the end of time. I was like, I don't want to leave. I said, I won't leave.
Wow.
They got me out for $35. That was crazy. But
This is all being when you were in the military.
I was in the Navy. I went to 25 countries.
Wow.
I enjoyed the heck out of it. I
You
had
were
great.
lucky there was no war going on.
Yeah, I went in after Vietnam. My father wasn't too happy with me, and I got on a ship called the Radford. It was a destroyer, and it was only a year and a half old when I got on it.
Okay.
And we were, like I said, we traveled to 25 countries: Egypt and France,
Wow.
and Italy and Denmark and Germany, Holland. I just had a ball. I went all over. And that experience, I think, helps me to be a good comic too.
Yeah, just
all
hearing your recount is pretty funny.
Yeah, lifetime. I got more stories of the Navy. That's a whole other thing. It's funny stories.
All your material is based on funny stories, and you always seem to have them.
Yeah, I had a lot of things happen to me.
You store them up all the time. Hopefully you can do some material about being on Topic Time.
Definitely.
Okay, well listen, we're just about out of time. We got under 2 minutes. You want to give a couple of shouts out, and then we'll wrap the show up to people that are going to see it, because a lot of people are.
A lot of people are going to see me.
Just condense them. Just say,
I could say, well, my friend Bob Anderson wanted me to give a shout out to him.
Yep, there you go.
We also do a comedy class,
Yep.
and we've done that. This is our third class. We're doing a stand-up comedy class, and we've had about 25 students, and about half of them are still doing the comedy.
Wow,
I help them. I get them into the open mic scene, and I help them out. So I really enjoy the business, from start to finish.
You teach comedy too.
Yeah, myself, Colleen Galvin,
and
and Rock and Joe Hebert. We teach it, promote it, perform it, the whole 9 yards. There's so many people that I could say hi to. I can't even.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I'll see the
there's
show.
too many.
Okay, Lenny, John Katz, Don Gavin, they're all. That's just to name a few. I'll do it for you. And on that note, you ready to jiggy with it here?
Yeah, let's
do it.
do it.
All right, folks, thanks for watching Topic Time.
Do it. I'm not a good dancer, though.
I don't know. Just leave it to me. See you next time. Thanks. Here
I'll
we
leave
go.
it to you.
Okay.